I need a makeover.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready as I'll ever be. Okay, growing up in Chicago since I was about 4, I think it was. Yeah, I'm not really sure what age I was. Let me get this side. I want to see somebody. Let's see. I went to school in Chicago. Times were totally different than going to school now. Because when we had to walk to school, rain, sleet, snow, whatever, you still got to school regardless. You still went to school. We never missed, we never had snow days or anything like that, so we had to go. In school, you pretty well obeyed we were afraid to get out of line because we had to go to the principal's office if we acted up in school. But when we went to lunch, we got in a line and we knew we had to walk that line in grammar school to the cafeteria. But when school was out, we didn't have computers and all the stuff the kids have now. We was lucky to have 3 stations on the TV at that time. So we didn't watch a lot of TV. We stayed outside and played a lot. My friends and me would go outside and we would make a hopscotch. Do anybody knows what hopscotch is? And we played that. We would jump rope. We would roller skate on the sidewalks in Chicago now. Sometimes when I got older and when school was out in the summertime, my friends and me, we would walk to Lincoln Park, to the zoo there, and to the lake a lot of times, and come back home. And we were pretty well, when it got dark, we knew we had to be in that house. So we was in the house then. Well, me and my family. Well, both of my parents worked, so for a while, I remember before I started school, I had to stay in a daycare, and it was run by nuns. And that's all I remember, them having beets. Seems like we had beets every day to eat. I hate them things now. So, for the fun, well, in the summertime, there was this park called Riverview Park where we'd go. It was an amusement park, and we'd play. You could ride the rides and all that. We'd only go once in the summertime, though. We didn't go every day. But when I got older, I remember going with my friends. I was a teenager, my one friend. And I'm a big chicken. So she talked me into getting on this parachute ride. It was okay going up, but all of a sudden you just drop. Scared the phooey out of me. You think I lost my shoes, too. And then she talked me into going this thing that you're held up by gravity that goes round and round and around. So when I got off of that thing, I was sicker than a dog. So I was, yeah, why she talked me into it, I don't know, but I did. And when we got home, well, we had supper. Both my parents worked, so my mom was very liberated even back then. She told my dad she wasn't coming home cooking supper every night, so if she wanted anything to eat, it better be on the table when she got home from work. So he cooked supper every night through the week. And it was ready about 5:30 or 6 because took her about an hour to go to work, but we lived close to where he worked, so he got home early. And he made supper every night. He was a good cook. And so while he was cooking, I would usually do my homework. And then after we ate, my mom would wash the dishes, and I had to dry the dishes and put them up. And then we didn't even have dish soap. We use up, if anybody knows what soap is, it's to wash your clothes in. That's what we washed our dishes in. Man, them things were slippery. That slip out of your hands all the time.
Did you ever break one?
No problem. I remember breaking a glass one time, yeah. But what else did I do? But we did a lot of playing outside. We didn't stay inside. We stayed outside most of the day. Because when I got old enough, when I was a latchkey kid back then, when I got old enough, probably about 9, I can remember, my dad would go to work, he'd wake me up. He says, time to get up and go to school. He'd have breakfast sitting on a table for me, so I'd eat breakfast, get myself dressed, and go to school. Come home from school till they got home from work, which was about an hour. And yeah, so yeah, a whole lot different world.
Talk about having your kids.
Well, when I got out of school, I remember graduating high school on a Thursday night. And I went for a job, I think Monday morning, and I was working the next day, Tuesday, at Montgomery Ward's in Chicago, on Chicago Avenue, and I was in accounts receivable. No, accounts payable, I think it was. Yeah, it was accounts payable. So I worked in there, and then I got married, then I ended up having kids. Had 3 of them, Michael, Stevie, Michelle. Or Michael, Michelle, Stevie, yeah, because he's the baby. And that was my life. Interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, actually it was.
Let me see, what else did we do? Well, I remember growing up, my mom made me a very independent kid. I mean, it was like, she said, you're going to learn to drive. Because she didn't drive, my dad drove, but he would not drive in Chicago. So she said, you're going to learn to drive. So she gave me 3 driving lessons. Now, this is in Chicago, but I've got my driver's license. And I bit more didn't know how to drive than nothing, but my mom was a brave woman. She said, come on, let's go somewhere. We'd get in the car, and I guess I kind of learned something on how to drive in Chicago. She made me very independent as far as, doing for myself. Well, in the summertime, when school was out, when Mom and Dad would get vacation, most time we would come up down here, and we would stay a lot of times with my Aunt Eula out there in Lenox. And I loved my Aunt Eula, but I remember her going out there one time killing a chicken, because I wasn't used to it. Just chased that chicken around that yard, chopped his head off, and they cooked. They grew all their own vegetables and made their own meat and stuff. They did all that themselves. And I still smell that smell where she put that chicken in that hot water to pull the feathers off. I still smell that smell. But I loved my Aunt Eula. She was so much fun. And we'd stay there, and well, I remember they'd say, let's go to town. I'm thinking, okay. So it seemed like it took forever then to get to town here in Dyersburg to me from Lenox, but we'd go, but it was different. All the stores were downtown. There wasn't no malls or nothing at that time. I can remember I call it the dime store. So we go in there and get something to eat at that cafe, at the, whatever you call that thing, with the stools, bar with the stools, all I know.
Like a diner?
No, it was in the dime store. We had one in Chicago, well, we had a bunch of them in Chicago, but I remember we used to go to one on Lincoln Avenue. On Friday nights, we'd buy groceries. So delivering groceries is nothing new, people. Okay, because we would go to the grocery store, buy our groceries, and then we'd go across the street and eat at the dime store. But then I got like some paper dolls for doing my chores through the week, because I had chores to do at the time. And I'd get me some paper dolls, then we'd go home, and then we'd get there, they'd bring our groceries there, and what you bought for the grocery store, that's what you ate all week. It wasn't like going every day, you went to the grocery store, so grocery delivery is nothing new. We had it way back then too. I'm just rambling on and on and on.
Which is perfect. Actually, so I got a question. Do you have, like, when you went to the pharmacies, did they have like those things where like you have smoothies, like ice cream and stuff? You know what I mean?
At the pharmacy.
Yeah, like in the old.
Oh, you mean like
yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I can remember they had one. Yeah, you go up to the booth and they had the best milkshakes and ice cream sundaes and all that. They were really good. And yeah, I can remember going and having, that had music, that little box sitting on the table, like a jukebox thing. You'd pick out a song, you'd put money in it and play a song you punched. The end.